Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History, history. Now we going back. Peter on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws I got, they changed me. We can see the truth now. I got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, 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 I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it, yeah. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, and you know it. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it, and you know it. Praying to the Lord, have mercy, mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. The mouth from my lips when I'm show me where you wanna go next, you know right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, standing back to back. Deacon 9 times, doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that. We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh, oh. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know going back, Peter on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws I got, they changed me. We can see the truth now. I got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. The enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it. Rounding up the, yeah. Rounding up the book to read, I gotta get them all looking overseas, and you know it, yeah. Reading through the law to see, I gotta dot the I's, even cross the T's, and you know it. Praying to the Lord, have mercy. Show me where you wanna go first, you know. Oh yeah. While I'm teaching to the people that's thirsty, searching for the truth that's hidden, you know. Oh yeah. Speak through the mouth from my lips when I'm. Show me where you wanna go next, you know. Right away. If you lost and you don't know where the truth at, looking all around but you don't know where to go. Well, we gon' show you the way. Okay, let me read the line. Line it up, send it back to back. Deacon 9 times, doctrine killer, hater stepping back. Captain Joel from the book, yeah, the prophet's back. Officer Ahim, yeah, that's Pepper Black. Officer LaCroix, yeah, from way back. Minister of knowledge, officer, just remember that. We gon' search the whole world, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh, oh. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. The enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History. Now we going back. Peter on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me. Laws I got, they changed me. We can see the truth now. I got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching. Yeah, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. searching. You hear me, boy, I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history?
We're back. We're back. Another episode of You Are Now Tuned Into Our Hidden History Radio Show. All right, we're here out here in Jersey. Out here in Jersey. We got a little studio audience now.
Yes,
here with us.
do.
All right, I'll praise the Lord for that.
Clap your hands for yourself.
Shalom, brothers. Shalom, sisters. Thank you for coming. All right, it's our first time doing this thing, so I want to open up real quick with Titus 1 and verse 9.
And also, we have Captain on deck.
Oh, yeah.
Captain is back.
Captain's back. Captain's here.
Yeah.
All praise the Lord for that. Captain's back. Captain's
I
back.
can't hear my mic. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Bravo. We have Captain on deck.
All praise.
All praises. Happy to see you, sir. Glad you could be here with us today.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you, too.
Thank
all
you,
praise
sir.
to the Most High. Good to be back on the panel once again. All right. All praise to the Most High.
Yep. Yeah, so we're back, and we're going to open up with Titus chapter 1, verse 9. This class is more, this is a bit of a sidebar, I should say, regarding the history that I've been going into. As you know, I said I was going to go into the history of Demetrius and Alexander Balis regarding the Greek rulers that were fighting for power at the time. So before I do that, I want to just go back a little bit because this class was motivated by an encounter we had on Clubhouse by a dude that's seeking clout and fame and doesn't know anything about history. So this class is going to be entitled, This is the Time of the Gentiles, Greece, Scythians. I'm going to touch on the Scythians. I had touched on the Scythians like way back, way back, like when I was teaching before. But we've stumbled across some new information regarding the Scythians, their background, when they came to be. And this brother came on Clubhouse speaking about I'm going to get to that. But give me Titus 1, verse 9 first. Then I'll explain what I mean.
Book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 9. Holding fast the faithful word as he hath been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers.
So the whole thought here in this class is to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. Because the brother came on, he said that the kingdom of heaven is not going to be a it's not going to be a white supremacy or Israelite supremacy. It's just going to be a kingdom of pretty much democracy. He was basically trying to say it's going to be a whole melting pot of people in the kingdom of heaven, and we're all going to rule together, holding hands and singing "We Are the World" and all that nonsense. So, and he pulled the scripture that basically he felt would counter the fact that we teach that the kingdom of heaven will be ruled by Israel, okay? Which is true. So read the next verse. Read verse 10. So our job is to exhort and to convince the gainsayers, but watch this.
Verse 10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers.
And that's what the category he fell under, okay? Unruly talkers, okay? Unruly and vain talkers and deceivers. Go ahead.
Especially they of the circumcision.
Of our own people. He's our own people. He acknowledges that he's an Israelite as well. He acknowledges that he was Israel, okay? But he was speaking unruly and vain things. Read the next verse.
Whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake.
Because he wanted to debate and have donations and cash app, all this nonsense going on with the brother. And so this class is dedicated to this brother and those that support him, because he has a pretty big following, arguing back and forth with the conscious community, whatever, which is unconscious. We call them the unconscious community, because those guys don't believe anything. Whoever sounds good and brings in the most money, they'll listen to it. So our job is to stop the mouths, okay, of those of the circumcision who are unruly and vain talkers and deceivers.
And
so,
Deacon,
yeah,
what they don't realize is they're sharpening our swords.
that's what they're doing.
They make us who we are.
Right, you make us worse. When you come at us with these different things and doctrines, you make us go back and research, read and think, and we find more stuff that we wouldn't have found had you not opened your mouth. That's why it's important for you so-called apologetics, you doing these little documentaries and stuff. We're going to counter it, and we're going to destroy it. That's what Bishop Kanai said yesterday, and I said that weeks before when I taught class. Okay, are you in a cult? I made it clear. Every time I do a class, I'm going to take shots at Christianity because it's garbage. It's pure garbage, and it's irrefutable garbage. You can't argue it and say that there's nothing aside from being garbage. So we're going to deal with the Scythians because many Christians tend to run the scripture. Under the scripture, you read that word one time in the New Testament. One time, I believe. All right, so get me, we're going to deal with the Scythians. Why are the Scythians important? Give me Colossians 3:11 now.
And Deacon,
yeah,
one of the big reasons I'm starting to find out is when it comes to the mentality of the black man, anytime you read verses, or like I said, you read nationalities or land masses, Scythian, barbarian, Greek, Ephesians, Corinthians, and they automatically point to or identify as a Caucasian or Edomitic, like I said, lineage, is because they still have that slave-based mind.
Yeah,
they can't see themselves past or prior to the transatlantic slave trade.
Right, because his argument was that the Scythians are a Nordic people with blonde hair and blue eyes. He said, see, they're going to be in the kingdom, yeah. So read Colossians 3, verse 11, please.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 11. Where there is neither Greek nor Jew.
These are the go-to scriptures for people in Christianity to suggest that the Israelites are wrong, because we teach that according to the Bible, The Israelites are going to rule a kingdom, and they're going to have nations as their servants. Okay? Right. Nations as our subjects, who will be subjugated under Israelite rule under our king, the Black Messiah Christ. That's biblical. That's in Daniel. That's right. That's in so many different places in the Bible. So they run to these go-to places, Greek and Jew, Jew nor Gentile, to the Jew first, then to the Greek. Anywhere they think is white folks, Greeks, because Christianity's main concern is to uphold the possibility of saving Europeans. That's the whole premise of the argument about nation salvation. They don't care about Chinese. You don't find Chinese folks being called Greeks or Arabs being called Greeks. They're saying Greeks, see? Greek, white folks too. They don't argue about Hawaiians. They don't argue about Africans. They don't argue about Filipinos or Japanese or Koreans or Cambodians. They never ever pull scriptures that point out who those nations are in the Bible and where their salvation is, but they'll go to where it says Greeks. Greeks. Then you'll ask the Christian, well, what's your nationality in the Bible? I'm a Gentile in Christ. Well, what's Gentile? Doesn't matter, because Christ opened the doors to all Gentiles. Bruh. Regardless of what Gentile you are, Christ opened the door to all of us. Yeah, okay, well, who's us? I want to know, because there's some nations in the Bible, in the New Testament, and the Old Testament, from prophecies that have not been fulfilled. When the Messiah returns, he will judge them. So shouldn't it be important to know that you're not those nations who are promised future punishments in judgment later on? Isn't that important to know? But Christians are like, no, Christ is going to come down here, and he's gonna let us have our gay parades and have all nations come. No, that's not happening in the Bible. That ain't happening. So read Colossians 3:11 again.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's almost futile and pointless to argue the point that who are the Gentiles, relating to Israelites, the Scythians, the circumcision, uncircumcision, because if you can't identify yourself with an Israelite or see Deuteronomy 28, then you can't understand the rest of the Bible. The way and the reason why black Christians are fighting against to save Gentiles, because they themselves believe that they're Gentiles. Mm-hmm. So they're going to fight that to death, because they're saying, wait a minute, you're withholding the keys of salvation to me. Yeah. I'm a Gentile. I've been taught my whole life that I'm a Gentile nation. I'm an uncircumcision. I'm a heathen. I'm a stranger. So therefore, I'm going to fight for my chance, the only possibility of me being freed from America. Mm-hmm. And by you excluding me, then you excluded my whole existence or my possibility to be free.
That's on a positive note. But on the reality is that these guys, they can't see a kingdom without white folks.
You got to bring masses.
That's the reality is. I'm not going to the kingdom of heaven unless masses is going to. That's what it really boils down to. And masses going to. All nations are going to be in the kingdom. You apologetics have it all wrong. Y'all have it all wrong. All nations, according to the Bible, are getting the kingdom. It's just the condition. It's not so a matter of getting in the kingdom. All nations are going to be in the kingdom to an extent. But in every kingdom, you have a ruling class and a serving class. You have rulers and subjects. The nations will be subjects. And the rulers will be Israel. That's it.
No middle class.
There's no middle class. The Bible's a capitalist book. I'm going to just be honest. The Bible's a capitalist book. The richer ruling over the less rich, over those who ain't rich. Kings ruling over subjects. That's what a kingdom is. Capital. Nations are going to be capital. It is what it is.
And there will be no unemployment.
All right? Right. You guys are going to have 9 to 5s. 9 to forever. And you get weekends off.
24 hours.
They get Sabbaths off, though. You get days off. You didn't give us those days off. You gave us 20 hours every day. 4 hours. We got 4 hours of break. A break for 4 hours break. If that in between. Horses got longer breaks than us. So we're going to be less harder on y'all in the kingdom. At first. Well, afterwards. Because in the beginning, we're going to break you guys in pieces. But, read it again, please. 3:11.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 11. Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free. But Christ is all and in all.
They go, see? So neither Greek nor Jew, brother. See? In the kingdom, Christ is in everybody. He's in the Greek. He's in the Jew. He's in the bond, the free. He's in the circumcised, the uncircumcised. But what I want to deal with is, I want to deal with Scythian, because we already covered Greeks. I mean, I'm in that captivity right now. I already covered that. Just go back to the beginning and watch to see how we became Greeks. All right, with the Antiochus, the Seleucid dynasty, the Ptolemaic dynasty. All right, that goes into how the Jews became Greeks or Grecians. I already went into that history already. Okay, but we want to deal with Scythian, how we pronounce it. We want to deal with them now. All right, now get me Joshua 17:1. Why am I going to Joshua 17:1 to deal with the Scythians? The Scythians are in the New Testament. Why am I going to Joshua 17? Let's ride with me for a moment. I'm going to show you why.
The book of Joshua, chapter 17, verse 1. There was also a lot for the tribe of Manasseh.
So this is an allotment of land for the tribe of Manasseh. And we got our allotments of land, the promised land. Go ahead, for the tribe of Manasseh. Read on.
For he was the firstborn of Joseph. To wit, for Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, because he was a man of war. Therefore he had Gilead and Bashan.
So he gained these lands. Now jump down to verse 11.
Verse 11. And Manasseh had an Issachar and an Asher and Bethshan.
So Manasseh had land in Issachar. Issachar and Manasseh shared land. And Manasseh's land within Issachar's land was called what?
Bethshan.
Bethshan. Bethshan. Go ahead. What was that? 11? Read again.
And Manasseh had an Issachar and Asher Bethshan, and her towns, and Ibleam and her towns, and the inhabitants of Dor and her towns, and the inhabitants of Endor and her towns, and the inhabitants of Tanakh and her towns, and the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns, even 3 countries.
So Manasseh had, I want to focus on is Bethshan. I want to focus on Bethshan. Bethshan is very, very important. Bethshan. Now, Manasseh's land was Bethshan. Now, give me Judges 1:27, which took place after Joshua.
Judges chapter 1, verse 27. Neither did Manasseh drive out the inhabitants of Bethshan,
Same place.
and her towns, nor Tanakh and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Dor and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Ibleam and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns, but the Canaanites would dwell in that land.
The Canaanites dwelt in that land, but eventually we did conquer them. When you read down to verse 28, next verse.
And it came to pass, when Israel was strong, that they put the Canaanites to tribute, and did not utterly drive them out.
Right, and us not doing so, what ended up happening? We ended up intermingling with them, start mingling in their works, mixing with them and following their gods, went the hell off, and ended up losing the land. Or became slaves within the land by those nations. So Manasseh inhabited Bethshan. Now, I want you to keep that in mind. Why am I talking about Bethshan when I'm dealing with Scythians? What is the correlation? Hold on. Give me 1 Chronicles 7:29. So the key part is Manasseh got this allotment of land within Issachar and Asher, this land mass, those 3 together, and the place is called Bethshan. Now let's get Chronicles 20. I want. Yeah, 7:29. 1 Chronicles 7:29.
1 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 29. And by the borders of the children of Manasseh, Bethshan and her towns, Tanakh and her towns,
Here we go.
Megiddo and her towns, Dor and her towns. And these dwelt the children of Joseph, the son of Israel.
Right, Manasseh. So again, I'm giving you another confirmation that Bethshan was Manasseh's land. Now, let's get 1 Samuel 31. This is when we ended up getting our first king, well, if you count Moses, but you count the first documented king, that would be documented as king, would be Saul. 1 Samuel 31 and verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 31, verse 1. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines, and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons.
Right, jump down to verse 8.
Verse
He
8.
ended up dying. Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen in Mount Gilboa.
Right, King Saul died. His 3 sons died too. They found their bodies. Go ahead.
And they cut off his head,
Cut off Saul's head.
and stripped off his armor, and sent into the land of the Philistines round about to publish it in the house of their idols and among the people.
They put his bones in their temple. Watch this. For the people to see. Go ahead, the Hamites. Go ahead.
And they put his armor in the house of Ashtoreth.
In the house of Easter. That's their god. Go ahead. You people in Christianity, you worship that god every April. Easter, Ashtoreth, the fertility goddess. It's the same thing as Easter. Go ahead.
And they fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan.
They did what?
And they fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan.
They fastened his body, his bones, to the wall of Bethshan. Remember, the Canaanites resided in this area. And the Philistines and Canaanites, which were pretty much the same people, Hamites, were in league together. So we went to war against the Philistines in this landmass. They nailed their remains to this wall in Bethshan, same place that Manasseh's landmass is. What verse is that?
Verse 10.
Verse 11.
Verse 11. And when the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead
Jabesh Gilead, go ahead.
heard of that which the Philistines have done to Saul, all the valiant men arose and went all night and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bethshan, and came to Jabesh and burnt them here.
They were defiled in that idol place. Go ahead.
And they took their bones and buried them under a tree at Jabesh and fasted 7 days.
Hold on a second.
And this is
wait. No, I'm sorry. They burnt the people there. They burnt the people that did that to Saul and them, and then they took their bodies down and buried them where? Read verse 13 again.
And they took their bones and buried them under a tree at Jabesh and fasted 7 days.
Fasted 7 days. So now, they were unclean from being in that area. Now, so Bethshan. All right, now, get me 2 Samuel 21 and 12.
2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 12.
What does this have to do with Scythia? Why are we reading about Bethshan and Samuel and Judges and Chronicles and Joshua? What is the correlation? You'll see. I'm going to take my time today. 2 Samuel 21 and verse 12.
And David went and took the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan, his son, from the men of Jabesh Gilead, which had stolen them from the street of Bethshan, where the Philistines had hanged them. When the Philistines had slain Saul in Gilboa, and he brought up from thence the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son. And they gathered the bones of them that were hanged, and the bones of Saul and Jonathan his son buried they in the country of Benjamin in Zelah, and the sepulchre of Kish his father. And they performed all that the king commanded. And after that, God was entreated for the land.
That's all I want. So, going back to, so they took the bones down from Bethshan and buried them in his home of inheritance. Saul and his sons. All right. Jonathan, namely, because Jonathan was his main son. That David was David's boy. Now, give me 1 Kings 4 and verse 1.
1 Kings chapter 4, verse 1.
Notice I'm going in order. I want the Joshua, and I want the Judges, then I want the Samuel, and Kings, Chronicles. Watch. 1 Kings 4, verse 1.
So King Solomon was king over all Israel. And there were the princes which he had.
These were the princes he had. Go ahead.
Azariah the son of Zadok the priest.
So under King Solomon's reign, you had Azariah the son of Zadok the priest. He was the priest at this time. During Solomon's time, you had Zadok. Okay, go ahead.
Elioreph and Ahiah, the sons of Shishah, scribes. Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, the recorder. And Benaniah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the host. And Zadok and Abiathar were the priests.
Okay, go ahead. These two were the priests. Go ahead.
And Azariah, the son of Nathan, was over the officers. And Zabud, the son of Nathan, was principal officer.
Zadok was one. Abiathar was another. He was the assistant elder priest, pretty much. But Zadok was the high priest, and the high priest has an assistant under him. Go ahead.
And the king's friend. And Ahashar was over the household. And Adoniram, the son of Abda, was over the tribute.
Adoniram was the son of Abda, was over the tribute. He was the one that was set up to collect the taxes or tribute. Go ahead.
And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, which provided victuals for the king and his household.
Right.
Each man his month in every year made by provision.
That's heavy. Read verse 7 again.
And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel,
He had 12 officers over all Israel. Watch this.
which provided victuals for the king and his household.
Which provided food for the king and his household. Watch this.
Each man his month, in a year made provision.
So each man, for each month of the year, made Solomon a meal. So for each officer, or each 12, or one of those each 12 would provide a certain meal for Solomon each month. It took care of his food. So Solomon had a whole gourmet. He had chefs. For each month of the year, he had a cook over him, a cook of all 12. For each month of the year, I'll be over your food, sir, this month. He'll be over your food next month. He'll be over your food next month.
So he had a variety.
He had a variety of foods. From from the different each 12.
Oxtail.
He had all kind of stuff.
Yeah, rice and beans,
venison,
all
all
of
that
that.
stuff. Eating lovely. Go ahead.
Hey,
Remember this
Deacon-
man in his household.
Deacon, also, you notice how it says 12 months out of the year, dictating how many months in a year is.
Yep, 12. Yeah.
Shows you when the Most High created the heavens and the earth, when he created time, years, it was already in his mind to create it after the 12 tribes of Israel.
Mhm.
If you notice that, everything's centered around the 12.
Yep. Even the Sabbath day, based upon Israel too.
Mm-hmm.
Read that.
Verse 7. And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, which provided victuals for the king and his household. Each man his month in a year made provision. And these are their names: the son of Hur and Mount Ephraim.
So Ephraim was one, provided his meals. That's one, over his meal. One month one, go ahead. Well, not month one, but 1 month, go ahead.
The son of Dakar and Makaz, and Shalambim, and Beth Shemesh. Oh, God.
Beth Shemesh.
And Beth Shemesh.
Your house of the sun. That's Beth Samson. Beth Shemesh. Go ahead.
And Elah Beth Hanan, the son of Hesed, and Arubath. To him pertains Sukkah, and all the land of Hefer, the son of Abinadab, and all the region of Dor, which had Taphath, the daughter of Solomon, to
We're
wife.
going to stop at verse 12. Go ahead.
And Deacon, that's the reason why I came here today, because I understood, I didn't want, Certain Brothers Abaddon to read for you today.
Oh.
It would have lengthened the time. It would have made the show 3 hours long rather than 2 hours.
Wow.
So he's in the spirit today.
It was a
Captain.
call to arms
Wow.
today.
Wow.
Call to read arms.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Abaddon. Thank you. I appreciate
I'm
you.
a brother's keeper.
Yes.
Yes, I got you, brother.
Looking out for you. Wow.
Shout out to Officer Abaddon.
Shout out to Abaddon.
Shout out Officer Abaddon.
Officer Sesame.
Mhm.
Good.
Officer Big Bird.
Verse 12.
Verse 12. Baana, the son of Ahilud. To him pertain Tanakh and Megiddo.
See, so Banah, the son of Ahilud, go ahead. To him what?
To him pertain Tanakh and Megiddo and all the Bethshan.
So he was over that landmass. He presided over during King Solomon's reign. He presided over that landmass, over Israel that resided there. That's Manasseh's land. Go ahead. Which is by
Zartanah, beneath Jezreel, and from Bethshan to Abelamah, even unto the place that is beyond Jokneam.
So he was over Bethshan, or at Bethshan again. Now, Bethshan. Why I keep referencing Bethshan? Bethshan is either referred to as Bethshan. Modern day today is referred to as Besan. Bethshan or Besan. Same thing. The Beth is Beth. Besan or Bethshan. Right? Now, or Bethshin. Now, get me Bible Hub. And we're going to look up Bethshan right here. So all y'all can see. We're all going to read along together. And if you have any comments or questions, you gainsayers or unruly talkers and vain deceivers, you can text us at 267-702-6121. That's 267-702-6121. You can text us any comments or questions you may have thus far pertaining to the class. So right now we're dealing with the Scythians.
Or if you don't like to read, you like to watch the Discovery Channel for white people to read for you, call in.
Right.
We'll read for you.
Yeah. Text in. We'll read your co-signers for you. 267-702-6121. Text us at 267-702-6121. Bethshan, please. Bible Hub. White people put this together, by the way. It's not Negro made, so you should trust in it at this point.
Bethshan. Bethshan or Bethshan. And Apocrypha, Bethshan, or Bethsa.
Right, and the Apocrypha is referred to as Bethsan or Bethsa. Same place. Go ahead.
A city in the territory of Issachar, assigned to Manasseh, out of which the Canaanites were not driven. Joshua 17:11, Judges 1:27.
I didn't even know it was in the Apocrypha written that way. Hold on, let me see if I can find it now. 1 second. Bethsa. Let's see.
Bethsa.
Yeah. Give me First Maccabees 5:52.
First Maccabees chapter 5, verse 52. After this went they over Jordan into the great plain before Bethshan.
Read again, sorry, read again.
After this went they over Jordan into the great plain before Bethshan.
There you go. Bethsan. Bethsan, same place. Bethsan, same place. All right. Now, continue reading this.
A city in the territory of Issachar, assigned to Manasseh, out of which the Canaanites were not driven. Joshua chapter 17, verse 11, Judges chapter 1, verse 27. In the days of Israel's strength, they were put to taskwork.
Right.
Judges 1:28.
Earlier, they took over finally. Go ahead.
They doubtless were in league with the Philistines.
These Canaanites that resided in the landmass, the Canaanites we didn't conquer out of the land, joined up with the Philistines and fought against us during King Saul's reign. Go ahead.
Who, after Israel's defeat on Gilboa, exposed the bodies of Saul and his sons on the wall of the city. 1 Samuel 31:7.
Read that earlier.
Whence they were rescued by the men of Jabesh.
Jabesh Gilead. Go ahead.
Who remembered the earlier kindness of the king. 1 Samuel 31:7 and 2 Samuel 21:12.
Right.
In 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 12, the name applies to the district in which the city stands.
Right.
It was called Scythopolis by the Greeks.
Oh! Wait a minute.
Bombs.
Oh, okay. So Bethshan was called Scythopolis by the Greeks.
Wow.
So when the Greeks took over our landmass, they named that area Bethshan or Bethsan Scythopolis. Scythopolis. Read on, keep going.
This may be connected with the invasion of Palestine by the Scythians, who, according to George Syncellus, overran Palestine and took possession of Bethsan.
No. This may be connected with. It's not. That's completely false. This is conjecture here. Well, keep going.
This may be the invasion noticed by Herodotus, circa 600 BC. Here, Tryphon failed in his first attempt to take Jonathan by treachery.
Right, Tryphon, we read that in class before, where Tryphon tried to take Jonathan over, tried to kill Jonathan. When Jonathan took over, when Judas died, and you had Joannan was killed, and you had Jonathan and Simon left. That's where we are now. If y'all remember, if you remember class, Tryphon was a new enemy and so forth. He tried to kill Jonathan, yada yada yada. But enough of that. So Bethshan in Greek became known as Scythopolis. Scythopolis, right? What does Scythopolis mean? Let's see. Give me Judith. No, matter of fact, keep going. Keep reading that. We're going to end at Pompeii. Go back to Bible Hub.
Right there, you good.
Yeah, keep going.
Here, Tryphon failed in his first attempt to take Jonathan by treachery. 1 Maccabees chapter 12, verse 40.
Read that earlier. Read that last week, I believe. 2 weeks ago. Go ahead.
It fell to John Hyrcanus.
It fell to John Hyrcanus. I'm leading up to him now. But this is a Hasmonean family member. Go ahead. Descendant. Go ahead.
But was taken from the Jews by Pompey.
But was taken from the Jews by the Romans. So the Romans took this land from us under General Pompey in the 60s, I believe, 60s BC.
63 BC.
63 BC, correct. So that's all I want to stop right there. So Rome took over Scythopolis, or the land of Manasseh. Okay? Now, get me Judith 3 and 10. Judith 3 and 10. Scythopolis is Bethshan.
The book of Judith chapter 3 verse 10. Thou therefore shalt go forth, and take beforehand for me all their coast. And if they will yield themselves unto thee, thou shalt reserve them for me to the day of their punishment. But concerning them that rebel, let not thine eyes spare them.
Wait, at Judith 3 and 10? Judith 3 and 10? Where you at?
Oh,
Judith 3 and 10.
sorry.
Where you reading from?
Cat, what book you on?
What book are you in?
Officer Haim did something.
Oh, what did he do?
Huh?
What did Officer Haim do?
I think it was Officer Abadan.
The book of
There's a mixture between both spirits.
I'm gonna have
fighting a battle.
It's a
battle
mixture
in the
of both
spiritual
spirits
world.
Wow. Judith, 3 and
verse
10. Yes.
I'm sorry, Deacon.
Thank you. Thank you, Cap. Thank you very much, sir.
Can't stand that, but
Wow.
I'm playing. Judah chapter 3, verse 10. And he pitched between Geba and Scythopolis, and there he tarried a whole month, that he might gather together all the carriages of his army.
This is going into Holofernes. This is going into King Nebuchadnezzar III, his general Holofernes. Okay, when he was trying to plot to take over he was trying to pretty much gain dominion away from the Persians and take and conquer everybody. All right, this is Nebuchadnezzar III. Okay, and he pitched in a place in Geba and Scythopolis. Okay, this is in the Maccabees. Now, this is in the Apocrypha, Judith. Now get me Second Maccabees 12. Second Maccabees 12 and 28.
Just to recap,
Yes.
where we have Bethshan is now Scythopolis.
Scythopolis, yes.
All right, cool.
At this point.
Second Maccabees chapter 12, verse 28.
The writers of Judith wrote Bethshan down as Scythopolis, pretty much. All right? Go ahead.
But when Judas and his company had called upon Almighty God, who with his power breaketh the strength of his enemies, they won the city and slew 25,000 of them that were within. From thence they departed to Scythopolis, which lieth 600 furlongs from Jerusalem.
Which lieth 600 furlongs from Jerusalem. All right? This is in the same land mass. It's the same land mass. Okay? So now we understand the correlation between Bethshan and Scythopolis. Scythopolis and Bethshan are the same place, 600 furlongs from Jerusalem. Now, what verse is that?
Verse 29.
Read on. We're going to read 31.
Verse 30.
Hold on, let me get there with you. No, let me get a map. Give me a map of Bethshan. Give me a map. Yeah. Well, Scythopolis as well. Sure, it's the same place, like a little bit of like a map. Are they getting? I got to read 12 and 30. Yeah.
But when the Jews that dwelt there had testified that the Scythopolitans.
Scythopolitans.
Oh, shoot.
Scythopolitans are the inhabitants of Scythopolis. Scythopolitans
Right. Dealt lovingly with them.
Why? Why did the Scythopolitans deal lovingly with the Jews that were there? Why? Because they were the same people. That's why. Read 29 again.
From thence they departed to Scythopolis, which lieth 600 furlongs from Jerusalem. But when the Jews that dwelt there had testified that the Scythopolitans dwelt lovingly with them, and entreated them kindly in the time of their adversity.
The time of the Greeks were chasing us, against us. Go ahead.
They gave them thanks, desired them to be friendly still unto them. And so they came to Jerusalem, the feast of the weeks approaching. And after the feast, called Pentecost, they went forth against Gorgias, the governor of Idumea.
That's all I want. What verse is that?
Verse 32.
That's all I want. Now, jump down to verse 41.
And all throughout the Apocrypha, Deacon,
40 and 41.
You notice how, like I said, during the Greek captivity, you hear about Northern Kingdom all the way, I'll say, you don't really hear too much about Northern Kingdom in the Persian captivity like that. Neither in the Babylonian captivity. So the last time we really heard about the Northern Kingdom was primarily in Assyrian captivity. From thenceforth, it was mainly about Judah, throughout Babylon, throughout Persian and Medo captivity, and as well as Greece. So you wonder why all of a sudden it seems like Northern Kingdom disappeared. You got to recognize through the prophecies, it says, Ephraim shall be broken, that it be not a people. So throughout Assyrian captivity, they not only assimilated, they took on the customs as well as the identity of those lands. So Scythopolis, or you have the Lydiceans, all these people, they started
Macedonians.
because they fulfilled prophecy. They were broken that they were not a people. But they still had ties with us. They understood, oh, those are our brothers. Even though we're not in the same customs, even though we're not in the same cultural practice, we don't stand those as long-distance brothers, just like today. Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom, blacks and Hispanics, even though one shakes his hips side to side, dances merengue salsa, Judah does the two steps. But when we have, like, when we have, conflicts, or, racial division or racial conflicts within America, Judah and Benjamin, we always come together somehow, like the 1960s. You have with, what is his name? It slipped my mind.
Panthers?
Yeah, the Black Panthers.
Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale.
But not Bobby Seale. Fred Hampton.
Fred Hampton. Okay, yeah.
Even though we weren't really connected like that, but when it came to times of conflict, we were connected.
Yeah.
So that shows you how there's always a league or some type of relationship in each captivity.
Hey.
Even Northern Kingdom didn't identify themselves with us.
Hey, Cap, just to back you up, like in Maccabees, how we were still sending letters to each other. And when we scattered in Spain, from Jerusalem, we were still sending letters to each other, making sure we was all right.
And that goes to with the feast of dedication. When we sending the letters.
Right, we were still sending letters to each other back
Right,
and forth
to
in
last
our
Lacedaemonians.
different, scattered, where we scattered.
Right. We verse 40. Verse 40. No, we verse 39 real quick.
Verse 39. And upon the day following, as the use had been.
No, 1239. First Maccabees, 1239.
Oh, you want the first Maccabees?
Yeah, 1239. Yeah. Where you at?
I was at the second Maccabees.
No, first. Stay in
Damn,
there.
Cap, you somewhere else again?
No, but I thought you said we was at 12. Second Maccabees.
You know what it is, man.
Yeah,
Cap is
first.
rusty. He hasn't been here for a while, so.
It's been a while.
Yes, sir. I
Give
know,
you some
sir.
time, Cap.
Yes,
Get
sir.
yourself
Oh, yeah,
together.
yeah, right.
It's
Right.
been a
Get some
long
time.
time.
No. He's right. We were on second Maccabees.
Oh, so now you guys want to say, give me some time.
Now
You better take that back.
Now we're going to
You better take that back.
Oh,
Sorry,
man.
Cap.
Cap, man. You out, man.
I don't need your help. I know where I was at.
Damn.
We was in second Maccabees 12. Now we're going to first Maccabees 12, 41 and 40, 39 to 41.
Trying to be sympathetic, put the Abaddon treatment on me.
Damn. Oh, man.
Stop doing witchcraft, Abaddon.
That's a brother that sings "Blessed is He That Reads" too.
Oh, man.
He sings it, but he doesn't follow his own advice. Abba, 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 ooh, ooh.
Hypocrite over there.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, wow, man.
I'll never send my children to learn under him. Eh? Like, hooked on phonics version.
Oh, man.
So
39.
second Maccabees 12:30. I'm sorry.
First Maccabees 12:39.
At least I'm not getting on Levi.
Yet.
That's cool.
Go ahead.
Abaddon,
39.
man. Take a hit
First
us,
Maccabees
baby. We love
12:39.
you, man.
Yeah.
If y'all didn't notice why I was so quiet, that one.
First Maccabees chapter 12 verse 39.
Mm-hmm.
As for any oversight or
Nope.
fault,
12:39.
yeah, that's 39.
First Maccabees 12:39.
Yeah.
We'll take it back, Cap.
Page
You little
232.
rusty.
Cap.
I got you.
Page
Cap.
232 in your Bible.
Yeah.
I need time.
Oh, my gosh.
Boy, no way. First Maccabees chapter 12 verse 39. Now Tryphon.
There we go. Uh-huh.
Now,
We read that earlier in Bible Hub about Tryphon trying to conquer Jonathan. Go ahead.
now Tryphon went about to get the kingdom of Asia, and to King Antiochus the king, that he might set the crown upon his own head.
Go ahead.
Howbeit, he was afraid that Jonathan would not suffer him, and that he would fight against him. Wherefore he sought a way how to take Jonathan, that he might kill him. So he removed and came to Bashan.
Bethsan, same place.
Bethsan.
Next verse.
Then Jonathan went out to meet him with 40,000 men, chosen for the battle, and came to Bethsan. Now when Tryphon saw that
That's all
Jonathan...
one. Bethsan. So leave it there. We're going to go back another time. We're going ahead too far ahead. But the point is I wanted was Bethsan. We will visit this again. Bethsan. All right? So now, get me 1 Chronicles 5:23. So Bethsan, Scythopolis, same place. Bethsan, Bethshan, same place. Scythopolis, same place. 1 Chronicles 5:23 to verse 26 is the main verse I want.
First Chronicles chapter 5 verse 23. And the children of the half tribe of Manasseh
And the children of the half tribe of Manasseh
dwelt in the land. They increased from Bashan to Baal Hermon, and Senir, and unto Mount Hermon. And these were the heads of the house of their fathers, even Epher, and Ishi, and Eliel, and Azriel, and Jeremiah, and Hadaviah, and Jadiel, mighty men of valor, famous men, and heads of the house of their fathers.
Mm-hmm.
And they transgressed against the God of their fathers, and went a whoring after the gods of the people of the land, whom God destroyed before them.
Verse 26 is what you want.
And the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria.
Paul is Tiglath-Pileser. Tiglath-Pileser III. They started going the hell off. So he stirred up the spirit of Tiglath-Pileser or Tiglath-Pileser III to overthrow Manasseh, the half-tribe Manasseh. Watch this.
And the spirit of Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and he carried them away, even the Reubenites and the Gadites, and a half-tribe of Manasseh,
And
brought them unto Halah, and to Habor, and Harah, and to the river Gozan unto this day.
These are lands of the Medes. These are lands of the Medes. Now, look on the screen here, you'll see where Bethshan is on the map right here. Bethshan is near Mount Gilboa. All right, Sea of Galilee, that's northern kingdom there. Jordan River, Jerusalem right there is 600 furlongs away. See Jerusalem there? Bethshan's up north. Northern kingdom, all right? You get some on Scythopolis? Oh, no. Let me get the map of Scythopolis now. See that? There you go again. And you got Jerusalem right there in the bottom, Samaria, the capital, Joppa, and Scythopolis, right in between Nazareth. It's right there, northern kingdom territory. Judea's the bottom, the south. Samaria's up north. Southern kingdom, northern kingdom regions. Scythopolis is Bethshan. Same place. All right? So now, let's go to 2 Kings.
Hey, can you also get a map that opens up the regions? So going from Bethshan, Scythopolis, going into, Europe. So you can see everything as a full. Rewind.
2 Kings 17, 5 to 6. 2 Kings 17, 5 to 6.
2 Kings chapter 17, verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land.
The king of Assyria here now is Shalmaneser. Shalmaneser the fifth. All right, read again.
Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land.
This is after Tiglath-Pileser had already conquered Manasseh, Reuben, and Gad, and so forth. All right, read again.
Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria.
Which is where Scythopolis is there. Remember, right there. Go ahead.
And besieged it 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
In the 9th year of Hoshea the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah, in Habor, by the river of Gozan.
Where?
By the river of Gozan.
Uh-huh.
And in the cities of the Medes.
In the cities of where?
In the cities of the Medes.
In the cities of the Medes. The Medes is where? Iran, northern Iran, Japhetic people, the Medes. They placed us in these areas. Okay?
Okay, can you show on the map the slave trade route going from Samaria to the cities of the Medes? Syrian
No, I need
Empire.
Bible maps and charts for that. My Bible Atlas says that. Go to my Bible Atlas real fast. I should have it in there.
So the people could see the slave
They
route.
can see the route. They were placed in those areas. Go to Bible Atlas. I'm not sure where you.
So what the deacon is showing is the history of the migration. I won't say the migration, the deportation into the lands leading further up to what the deacon's going to go into.
Should be page. Hold on. Hold on a second.
So Bethshan,
Page 200. Page 200. Right? Is that it right there? I think that's it right there. No, not that one. No, not that book. Yeah. Bible Atlas. All right, 5 minutes. The Bible Atlas with charts. This page 200, I believe. Page 203. You have it? You have Bible Atlas. You have that. 202 and 203, yes.
So, just like I said, go over to just a brief recap. Beth Shan, also known as Scythopolis? Scythopolis, right? Scythopolis. What's up?
Hey,
You want to say something?
yes, sir. I was looking for this page in Josephus. I can't find it. How the Greeks, when they came into power, they started changing all the names of the different countries and so forth. So just like the way we named in the Bible, they changed all of that. So they're not the same names that you would see in the Bible, because they, like, you got Scythopolis, you got Antioch. They changed all those names.
Right, which fulfills the prophecy in Psalms 49. Name the lands after their names.
After their name.
Yep.
That's why it's so difficult to associate the people of the book with those lands, because we say, well, no, those are not the northern tribes.
Yes, sir.
Because the Greeks changed the whole game around. That's why there's so much confusion when you read the Bible. And then when you hear these lands, you think that Paul's going to these, like, nomadic tribes, Edomite nomadic tribes. No, that's not the case.
Right.
Many different tribes been displaced or migrated further to different regions. Like, none of the lands are from the original inhabitants, places, the lands that they inhabited. None of the original tribes are there, like the Moabites. They migrated further down in the east.
Right. Everybody migrated.
Everybody migrated.
Once Esau came in, or even in Africa, down East Africa, when the Arabs came in, all of Ham, they fled south.
Yep, that's it. That's the one I want. Yep. Perfect. So you see Israel there. You see Judah underneath. Now you see, and you go up. You blow it up some more. Let's move it over to the right. You see where it says, what is that? Biblos, Sepharvaim, Hadrach, Hamath. Go over to your right. You go up. You see Gozan, Haran. That's where they took us. You see where it says Haran there, Gozan. You see Gozan. You see Habor River. See it there? Which goes into the Euphrates River, beyond the Euphrates. And you have Nineveh right there at the top, Kala. That's where they placed us. Tigris River. And you have Iraq underneath, which is Babylonia right there at the bottom. So Israel is placed in these areas. You see the Taurus Mountains up there? That's Europe. Taurus Mountains. That's Europe up there. All right, which is Iran and Europe is next door. They're literally next door. The Near East and Europe is at the same, pretty much. All right, so Israel resided in this landmass: Carchemish, Haran, Gozan, River Habor, along the Euphrates, Assyria there. Okay, bring it out some. Yeah. Okay, let me see. That's fine. So now, keep that in mind. This is where Israel is placed, in these areas. All right, in the cities of the Medes. Okay, so now, get me what I want. Type in Google Scythian Empire. Scythian Empire. You're going to click the map right there to the right. Yes. Yep, I want that's exactly what I want. Yep. Blow that up some. There we go. Bring it in. See right there? Now you see Roman Empire. You see Parthia. Right there. Then you see Scythia above here, up top here. Parthia is Persia. Okay? Then you go over to your right. What do you see there? Middle kingdoms of what? India. That's Elam. That's the same landmass, the same people. Different names, same people. Okay? No different from saying Jamaican, Trinidadian. It's the same damn people. Okay? Then you have Indo-Scythians. See that there? Then you have, to your left, you have Sarmatia. Move over to the left. To the left. Sarmatia. The hell?
To your left, right here.
We're pointing to Karasima. Sarmatia with an S. Sarmatia. Thank you, Philly. Thank you. You have Sarmatia right there to the left, right? So now, and you have Arabia to the bottom. Then you go further up, further left, you have Magna Germania. That's the original name of Germany. Okay? That's Eastern Europe. When you go further up, as I said before, Persia, Iran, that's Iran. Parthia is Iran, basically. And Scythia is pretty much upper, North Iran. And above that is Russia. Like right above to the top, way up north is Russia. Russia is massive. So Persia had a stronghold within parts of Europe. The Black Sea, Caspian Sea, they had strongholds there. Okay? Because Parthia or upper or North Parthia or northern Iran is the Medes. Israel was placed in this landmass right here during the time of Assyria. They were placed here. Got you. They were placed here. All right? Placed in this area right here. Okay? So now, this area here is called Scythia. Now, remember the place called Scythopolis. Do not forget Scythopolis. So these people who resided in this area here, where the Medes had a stronghold, where Israel was placed at, established an empire called the Scythian Empire. Now, get me Wikipedia Scythians. Who the hell is Scythians? Remember the word Scythopolis. Keep that in mind. Okay?
You ready, D?
No, hold on.
So understand that Israel, we were an omnipresent people. All right. So once in all our captivities, we started scattering, migrating everywhere. The known world, we was all over the place. All right. Even from the time of King Solomon, Deacon brought that out in his previous classes, how we was starting to migrate and scatter throughout the known world. So we continue that same migration through all the different captivities.
Go to, I think I said you go to Scythopolis. Remember Scythopolis and Bethshan, the same place. Remember that? And we read about how the Scythopolitans were kind to us. Y'all remember that? Go up, blow this up, I want this the whole screen. Blow it up. There should be no blank sides. There we go. Bring it down to the bottom. Bring it down to the always up to the very top. Top. Right there. Up more. There we go. Thank you. Scythopolis is what? Bethshan. Right? Now, read what it says here. Watch this.
Scythopolis.
We're going to find what the word Scythopolis means.
Bethshan. Bronze Age, Iron Age, Hellenistic, Roman and Byzantine city in Galilee.
Right.
In Greek, it was called Scythopolis.
In Greek, it was called Scythopolis. Go down. Bronze Age. Read it tells you who took over the land over the course of history. Go down. Right there. Read that there.
Hellenistic city. The city was refounded by Ptolemy II.
Refounded means the Greeks took it over. It was refounded by who?
Ptolemy II of Philadelphia.
Ptolemy II Philadelphus. You read about him classes ago. About Ptolemy II Philadelphus. You read about him in Daniel. I believe he's in Daniel 11. This guy here. Read on.
From 282 to 246 BCE.
So he refounded. Remember, Israel was there first. What the hell did he find? He found nothing. It just colonized it.
And
read again.
The city was refounded by Ptolemy II Philadelphus, 282 to 246 BCE.
Watch this. Who called what?
Who called it Scythopolis?
So he named the place Scythopolis, meaning what?
City of the Scythians.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
City of the Scythians. The land of Manasseh was called the City of the Scythians. City of the Scythians. Go ahead.
Because Kololi, Syria.
Cold Syria,
as this part of the Ptolemaic Empire was called, was contested with the Seleucid Empire. It is possible that Scythopolis had a military function, and the Scythians were mercenaries.
And the Scythians were mercenaries.
Another Ptolemaic settlement of this period was Philadelphia, Amman, and Jordan.
So this landmass of Manasseh was called the City of the Scythians. Scythians, polis, city. Scythopolis. So the Scythians resided in the land of Manasseh. That's who it was. Bethshan is the city of the Scythians. Now, you want to say something, guy?
The same thing they did to the land of Asher. I forgot who named it. Phoenicia.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it?
The Greeks.
Which is a particular Greek ruler.
The Greeks did this. The Romans. The Romans.
Those Greeks.
The Greeks.
The Greeks did the same thing.
They named it like Phony, Phoenicia.
Phoenicia, but because of the palms.
Phoenicia, yeah.
It was Canaan. They gave it Phoenicia, right? Phoenice.
So the same thing they did to the land of Manasseh, the same thing they did to the land of Asher.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Phoenicia. So that's why in the book we have timeline magazines. It shows you when it says we are the sons of Canaan. Mm-hmm. You know, so they took when they took the route going into the Americas around the coast of Africa. Mm-hmm. They said it was Phoenician sailors, but they spoke Hebrew. So those Phoenicians were Israelites. Israelites were called Phoenicians based upon what the Greeks called them. Right. Just like you had the Scythians, those are Israelites and what the Greeks called them.
Right. When Paul traveled to Phoenice, that was Phoenicia. That's Canaan. That's the same place.
Alexander named it. I think it was Alexander named it Phoenice.
Wow. There you go. I think it means land of palms because there's palm trees there. So Scythians means city of the Scythians. That's what Scythopolis means. The land of Bethshan. Manasseh's land was called the city of the Scythians. There were no Iranians residing in the promised land. In the promised Greek. That's not who it's referring to. Or Nordic peoples with blonde hair and blue eyes residing in the land at that time. In Bethshan. Israel was there. Remnants of northern kingdom were there. Okay, now, get me real quick, just to further prove it. Go back to Wikipedia again. Scythians. Go up to the top. That's it right there. That's it. Yep. Scythians. Go ahead.
Scythians. The Scythians from ancient Greek.
Hold on real quick. We got on a comment board, the sound is a little lower than usual. I don't know if you brothers could turn up the mic. They're saying the sound is lower than usual. Go ahead, Jess.
The Scythians from ancient Greek, also known as Saka or Sake.
So they refer to, or Scyths, also known as Saka or Saka. Go ahead, same thing.
Old Persian, Saka, ancient Egyptian.
Go down to the English. Wait, go up. It says, or Ashkazai. Ashkazai. Keep that in mind. Ishkazai, Ashkazai. Keep those names in mind too. Saka, Ishkazai, Ashkazai. Keep those words in mind. We'll come across those again. Go ahead. We're what?
We're an ancient nomadic people.
We're an ancient nomadic people. They wander from place to place. Go ahead.
Living primarily in the region known as Scythia.
Living in the region known as Scythia. Go ahead.
Which today comprises the Eurasian steppes of Kazakhstan. The Russian steppes of the Siberian, Ural, Volga, and southern regions, and eastern Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Classical Scythians dominated the Pontic steppe from approximately the 7th century BC.
Stop. Classical Scythians, meaning the original people referred to as Scythians, dominated what?
Dominated the Pontic steppe from approximately the 7th century BC.
Until
the 3rd century BC.
Stop. Now, remember we read earlier, Tiglath-Pileser had conquered northern kingdom, took them out that land, remnants of them out that land, and remnants of us out the land, and placed us in the same landmass right here. They placed us here. And what was the Assyrian time period? 7th century. 7th century BC. Then it was refounded by the Greeks, which goes to 3rd century BC, where it was named Scythopolis. Well, I'm sorry, where they took it over, the land Bethshan. So from the time of the Assyrians, so the Scythians' rulership started 7th century, okay, and ended 3rd because the Greeks pretty much dominated them, okay, took over. So it says from approximately 7th century until 3rd century. So the Scythians established themselves dominant in this land from the 7th century. That's during the time of Assyria. Northern kingdom was placed in this landmass, and they became an empire, dominated over here.
So, Deacon, they were at the 7th century, they were still known as Bashan.
No, 7th century, the northern kingdom was placed in this landmass.
Oh, okay.
And they took over.
So Scythia wasn't called that yet as of before the northern kingdom migrated over
Correct.
there. Or was deported over there.
Right.
So it became Scythia based upon what they were called the Bashan.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they took the name along with them.
Right.
And
Scythians came over there. This means nomads. We landed over there.
All right.
Keep going.
They can also be referred to as Pontic Scythians.
Uh-huh.
They were part of the wider Scythian cultures, stretching across the Eurasian steppe.
Uh-huh.
In a broader sense, Scythians has also been used to designate all early Eurasian nomads.
All early Eurasian, Europe, you mean Europe, Asia, because those lands are connected. Asia is like the East. Euro-Asian or Near East Asia, Europe Eastern. That's what Eurasian means. Europe Eastern nomads who reside in this area. Now, hold on a second. Keep going. We're going to stop at cythology. Keep going.
Although the validity of such terminology is controversial. According to D. Cosmo, other terms such as early nomadic would be preferable.
Early nomadic, because you had a whole various times, different migrations took place in that same landmass of different peoples. But the classical Scythians was us. I'm going to prove it. Keep going.
Eastern members of the Scythian cultures are often specifically designated as Sakas.
As Sakas. Keep that in mind. Go ahead.
The Scythians are generally believed to have been of Iranian origin.
Generally to have been of Iranian origin. Remember, that's the Medes, North Iran. They came from Iranian origin, is believed. Keep going.
They spoke a language of the Scythian branch of the Iranian languages and practiced a variant of ancient Iranian religion.
Go ahead, Medes, go ahead.
Among the earliest peoples to master mounted warfare, the Scythians replaced the Cimmerians.
Stop. So the Scythians displaced the Cimmerians. Who are the Cimmerians? The Cimmerians are the original inhabitants of that land. The biblical name of Cimmerians is Gomer. That's Japheth. That's who the Cimmerians are. That's Japheth. Okay? That's who the Cimmerians are. Click on Cimmerians real quick. Click that real fast. Read that.
Cimmerians. The Cimmerians were a nomadic Indo-European people who appeared about 1000 BC, originating in the Pontic-Caspian steppe.
Right. Those are the original Europeans. Go ahead.
The Cimmerians subsequently migrated into Southwest Asia and into Central and Southeast Europe, while the Cimmerians were often described by contemporaries as culturally Scythian.
Because they resided there first. Go ahead.
They evidently differed ethnically from the Scythians proper.
They were not the same people.
Who also displaced and replaced the Cimmerians.
Because Israel went in there, they pushed us in there, and we pushed them out. Israel came in, we know we take things over. We know we move into a neighborhood, we take it over. That's what Israel does. We pushed Japheth out of there. Now, give me the book I have, the book, what's the book called, man? Yeah, because the guy that was the idiot before he wanted books, huh? It's called Lost Tribes of Myth by who? By Godby, right? Lost Tribes of Myth.
Alan H. Godby.
By Alan Godby. Hand me my book. You're done with it? Let me get it. I need to see something. This book is called Lost Tribes of Myth. Written by, Godby. and it is a book that he was a professor of the Bible. Okay, Library of Studies. The book is very hard to get if you get it at all. I doubt you'll get it at all. We got it by the grace of God. We got it.
Nah, I think that's it.
These
We
two
got
are-
all the
these two are-
copies.
These two are the last ones.
Where do you get the book? How can you get it? I said, you can't get it.
Yeah, you can't. Just to be honest. Book is called again, Lost Tribes of Myth by Alan Godby. Give me page 268. Okay. We're gonna take a break after this, but I want to get this real quick regarding how the Scythians displaced the Cimmerians. We're gonna start at where it says now Genesis 10:2. Go down to the second paragraph.
Right here.
Yep.
Now, Genesis chapter 10, verse 2. Listen.
Matter of fact, no. Go up. Wow, I highlighted it. Their claim. Start from their claim.
Their claim.
These are scholars going back and forth regarding the inhabitants of particular lands, particularly in Russia, Germany, or Magna Germania, Scythia, that land map between the Black and Caspian Sea. That's like the Ukraine, Crimea. The war going on right now, Israel was there. We were in that landmass originally. Read that there? We migrated there or were deported there. Read that there?
Their claim that all the Crimea was once made a Persian Jewish domain.
Stop. Because remember, when the Assyrians had placed us in lands of what? Of the Medes. All right? They placed us in those land masses. Which would be like Parthia, Media, same place. They placed us there. So read the tradition again. Their claim that all what?
Their claim that all the Crimea was once made a Persian Jewish domain has the same supporting evidence.
Watch this.
The inscriptions recovered from Kerch and the Taman district east of the Cimmerian Bosporus.
Cimmerian Bosporus. Go ahead.
Show that Greek-speaking Jews.
Show what?
Greek-speaking Jews.
Greek-speaking Jews resided in this landmass. Keep going.
Were in that region in the 4th century BC.
Come on.
While Jewish traditions in Thessaly.
Thessaly is Thessalonians. Thessaly. Go ahead.
Nearly 8,000 miles southwest claim that their forebears were there in the same century before the rise of Alexander the Great.
We were there before Alexander, living in these lands. Keep going.
And archaeology shows them on the lower Danube. At the same time, we shall see reason to believe that all these were known by fellow Jews in those early times as Askan or Askenos Jews.
Jews that resided in Germany. These are the original. We were in Germany first. Then the imposters came later. Read this right here.
Now, Genesis chapter 10, verse 2 lists Gomer with the Lydians, Medes, Ionians,
just Greeks, Javan,
Tiberenians, and Masti in Georgia as the people of northern Asia Minor.
These are all Japheth. Go ahead.
And the Ashkenazim are rated as sons of Gomer, that is, political sons. The Gemerai of Assyrian inscriptions.
The Gemerai of the Assyrian inscriptions. Remember, the Assyrians conquered us and placed us in the lands of Gomer's sons, which is Scythia. That's their landmass, the Cimmerians. Go ahead.
The Gemerai of the Assyrian inscriptions had overpowered the Askan peoples of Armenia. The classic Cimmerians are universally recognized in the Hebrew Gomer.
So the Cimmerians are Gomer. That's Japheth's children. The Assyrians conquered us and placed us in their lands because the Assyrians gained dominion of Japheth's land and put Israel in their stead. Then we, when it got placed in there, we took over, pushed Japheth out. Okay, and pushed them further east. Okay? So that's all I want. I'll stop. The time is it now? 2:50? Yeah. So I'm going to take a quick break, a quick 5 minutes.
So basically, Russia and Ukraine don't belong to either Putin.
No. Doesn't belong to them. Nope.
They're fighting for land that don't belong to them.
Fighting for land that don't belong to them either. All right? So we're going to stop there for a moment, and we'll be right back in about 5 minutes. All right? So I got a lot to cover. All right? So we'll see y'all when we're back from the break.
sacrifice was given to the 12.
Time for y'all to pull your head out the ass and wake up.
Without you, your ways I can't comprehend. When my face starts lacking, you reach down and take my hand. I keep my faith up. Devil out there lurking, build my spirit up. When I'm feeling down, open my Bible up. I keep my patience, Don't leave me lonely, stay beside me. Have my back when I'm lacking, I'm fighting daily. This the price of the battle, I gotta endure to the end. A crown I'll achieve if I deny sin, yeah. Walk with me and hold my hand. Your ways I can't comprehend, cause a man's goings are the ways of the Lord. Give me light so my eyes can see. Take my hand, Lord, walk with me, cause a man's goings are the ways of the Lord.
I did not know this. You walk with me through crooked ways, yeah. Your word keeps me focused. That's when I have successful days, yeah. You said you go train up your child in the way I should go. I don't go left, I go right, I walk straight on the road, yeah. Unrepentant, call it strange. They got Caesar on their brains. They proceed to call me lame, even though they see the change. Heathens are dealing with side of me. Why you stay purchasing a nigga up out of me? I just want you to be proud of me. Walking with you, that's the way that it ought to be. Correction ain't coming, but not on a nigga, so commonly I'm gonna listen. Cause there's no victory without the vision.
Hold my hand, your ways I can't comprehend, cause a man's goings are the ways of the Lord. Give me light so my eyes can see. Take my hand, Lord, walk with me, cause a man's goings are the ways of the Lord.
Show me your mercy, Lord. Give me your mercy, Lord. You're changing my path and making it straight. You made me your man, you're making them great. Consider my words to equal my faith. The kingdom of heaven, I know it the way. So I'm willing to battle whatever it takes. I'm willing to battle whatever it takes. When it boils down to my world crown, I don't play around. When I went astray in my sinful ways and you stayed around. I can admit it, all of the sins I committed. I can be utterly finished. That's why you be seeing me yelling the spirit. No matter whoever I'm yelling, let's get it. So don't be offended. I switch up to a different mindset. I show my people how to find rest, but they look at me like a crime threat. Every day that I wake up, I'ma shape up till the day comes. Ain't nobody gonna break up what he made up since day one. I'll praise the Lord.
Walk with me and hold my hand. Your ways I can't comprehend, cause a man's goings are the ways of the Lord. Give me light so my eyes can see. Take my hand, Lord, walk with me, cause a man's goings are the ways of the
What club was that at?
That was admit that a lot of people don't even realize it.
I've called her. She hasn't responded. I've called her more than a few times.
With the Zulu Nation, I'm like, what the hell is this? I know nobody know what I'm talking about. You'll leave me on the island by myself. I don't know what the hell Bishop's talking about. That's what y'all do. Then after class, yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I just don't want to be caught out there. The hell is this? Get on my damn nerves. So read that again, 31.
Hey! Shalom, my Israelite family. And Most High in Christ bless you all. I'm your host, King Heads. I want to welcome you all to Jew Train. We got one of the baddest bands out here in the world of Israel. They will have your feet off the ground and get down. The organized sound of Zamar. And here they come with Jew Funk.
Yo, Cat, let me get some of that.
back. We're back from the break. We're going to continue on the Scythians, Wikipedia. Let's go back there real quick. Some of y'all probably still have your doubts. I'm still confused. I'm going to bring it full circle. Just give me a minute. So the landmass in which Northern Kingdom resided in, Manasseh particularly, was Bethshan. Later on, the Greeks took over that landmass, named it Scythopolis, which was the land of the Scythians, because the original inhabitants of that land, they referred to as Scythians. Why, I do not know. However, I want to prove that the Scythians were, in fact, our people that were eventually the Assyrians deported out of our land and put us in that landmass, where they were given the term Scythians again. Okay? Read that, read that.
The Scythians are generally believed to have been of Iranian origin. They spoke a language of the Scythian branch of the Iranian languages and practiced a variant of ancient Iranian religion. Among the earliest peoples to master mounted warfare, the Scythians replaced the Cimmerians as the dominant power on the Pontic steppe in the 8th century BC.
So the 800s BC, they conquered, they pushed Gomer out. Go ahead.
During this time, they and related peoples came to dominate the entire Eurasian steppe.
They and related peoples being their own people, different names. Go ahead.
From the Carpathian Mountains in the west to Ordos Plateau in the east, creating what has been called the first Central Asian nomadic empire, based in what is modern-day Ukraine and southern Russia.
We always in the south, man. I don't know what it's about the south of black people, man. We always take the south over. In southern Russia. Go ahead. Ukraine and southern Russia. What they're fighting over now. Go ahead.
They called themselves Skolodi, ancient Greek, and were led by a nomadic warrior aristocracy known as the Royal Scythians.
We had our own leaders. We had our own elders, leadership. Keep going.
In the 7th century BC, the Scythians crossed the Caucasus.
In the 7th century BC, the Scythians crossed the Caucasus. They were placed there. Go ahead.
And frequently raided the Middle East along with the Cimmerians, playing an important role in the political developments of the region. Around 650 to 630 BC, Scythians briefly dominated the Medes of the western Iranian plateau.
Why? Because we were placed in the cities of the Medes and we took over the Median areas. Go ahead.
Stretching their power to the borders of Egypt.
We started to grow. We were warriors. Go ahead.
After losing control over Media, they continue intervening in Middle Eastern affairs, playing a leading role in the destruction of the Assyrian Empire.
Go ahead.
In the sack of Nineveh in 612 BC.
So we helped the Babylonians overthrow Assyria, the Scythians. That was us. We hated it. Remember, the Assyrians gave us hell. So we helped the Babylonians overthrow them. We were an aid to them. Jump down to where it says cytology. Go down. I don't know if you read a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, jump down right there. Go to the name of the Scythians. No. Go. Right there. The name of the Scythians.
The name of the Scythians survived in the region of Scythia.
Wait. Go up to the Scythians played an important part.
You can stay right there. The Scythians played.
Wait. Let me see something. You read up. By this time, they have been largely Hellenized. Go up some. By this time, they had been largely. Read that.
By this time, they had been largely Hellenized.
They had been largely Hellenized as the Greeks took over. Okay, go ahead.
By the 3rd century A.D., the Sarmatians.
See that? By the 3rd century, remember they moved from 7th to 3rd century. Go ahead.
And last remnants of the Scythians were dominated by the Alans and were being overwhelmed by the Goths.
Overwhelmed by Goths. We'll get to who they were later on, too. Go ahead.
By the early Middle Ages, the Scythians and the Sarmatians had been largely assimilated and absorbed by early Slavs.
Go ahead.
The Scythians were instrumental in the ethnogenesis of the Alsatians, who are believed to be descended from the Alans.
Go ahead, keep going.
The Scythians played an important part in the Silk Road.
They played an important part in the Silk Road. They were involved in the Silk Road. Go ahead.
A vast trade network connecting Greece, Persia, India, and China, perhaps contributing to the prosperity of those civilizations.
Keep going.
Settled metal workers made portable decorative objects for the Scythians, forming a history of Scythian metalworking. These objects survive mainly in metal, forming a distinctive Scythian art.
Go next one.
The name of the Scythians survived in the region of Scythia. Early authors continue to use the term Scythian, applying it to many groups unrelated to the original Scythians.
So the term Scythian now is applied to groups that are unrelated to the original people deemed Scythians, okay? Such as who?
Such as Huns, Goths, Turkic peoples, Avars, Bulgars, Khazars.
You so-called. Go ahead.
And other unnamed nomads.
Other unnamed nomads, because Scythian means nomads. Go ahead.
The scientific study of the Scythians is called
Scythology. So. Give me the map on where Scythians, where they reached, how far they reached. That's all I want.
So it's causing confusion now, and it's
regarding who they are now. So whoever resides in that landmass later on in the centuries, they're all called Scythians. All of them are called Scythians. But the original Scythians who we want to deal with.
All right. Go up. That's not it.
Not the one.
That's not it. It's the one under that map. In an excerpt on top of that, Deacon, it explains about two people that was looking at this whole map, this whole region, through the Hellenistic lens. Meaning they were trying to identify that landmass to them. But it's going to say it. Let me see where you could start off at, Jez. Herodotus. You see where it says Herodotus?
Herodotus. Yeah, we're going to get to him in a minute, too. Herodotus.
Okay, you want me to leave that? Or
you can go ahead and say it.
Go ahead and say it. Go to the writings right before that map.
Mention by name. Go ahead.
Go back out.
Go to the text.
Yeah, right there on the top. If you could blow it up. And then after that, you could show the map where it is stretched out. There you go. You can read that first paragraph.
Herodotus, 485 BC to 420 BC, and Strabos from 63 to 64 BC.
So Strabos was a geographer, a Greek geographer. So he's giving you this image through the lens of the heathens right now.
Right. Describe the Saka, the Sake, in general as nomads who engaged in perpetual warfare, plundering their neighbors in far-off lands. However, Strabo and Herodotus mention exceptions to this generalization. Their comments, together with the supporting evidence, indicate there were both settled in nomadic Saka. Strabo sums
and remember,
up.
we read Saka was another name for the Scythians.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Strabo sums up the reputation of the Saka as follows. They are self-assertive, uncouth, wild, and warlike, but in their business dealings, straightforward and not given to deceit.
So that sounds like our people, how we kept business.
Yeah.
We kept it gangster, and then we kept it
businessman.
straight right. You know what I mean? You don't mess with us, you good. We ain't going to do you dirty. So now scroll up to that map in the bottom.
Right.
And remember he said people that wasn't even Scythians or from Bethshan became known as Scythians because all this green area was the grasslands that the Scythians took over in that land.
Right. So blow it up some, if you can. So the Scythians took over all of this here. That's why I said they were instrumental in the Silk Road, because you see China right underneath. See right there? Give me Isaiah 49:12. To show that Israel made our way to the far east as well. You see Hungary. So the Scythians took over Turkey, parts of Turkey, Hungary, Romania, Ukraine, Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan is right where what? Is the cities of the Medes. Same place. Okay? Western steppe. You have Eastern steppe, Mongolia. And they refer to that now as Tartars. Tartary, whatever. But so people so Moab later on became known as Scythians too, but they were not the original Scythians. Mongols, and you have Nordic people, Germans, and they fell under the term Scythian later on. But the biblical Scythians were not these people until later on, based upon Greek cartologists. Okay?
Yeah, so the brother that was arguing, check. The brother that was arguing on Clubhouse, he didn't go this deep in the history
he did not.
of the people.
He's black, yeah. Yeah, Isaiah 49:12.
I just say he's black.
Yeah. Isaiah 49:12, please.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 12.
Yep.
Behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north and from the west.
Israel. It's in front of Israel. Go ahead.
And these from the land of Sinim.
Land of what?
Sinim.
Sinim is China. Israel shall come from the north, the west, and we shall come from the far east. That's China. That's all that landmass there. China, Korea, same place. Israel was there. Isaiah's documenting that Israel resided in these lands and will come from these lands when the Lord delivers us. China, we are in these lands. We migrated there during these times, during the time of the Assyrian displacement and during the time of the Persian Medes who gained dominion over, or had dominion over parts of Europe. Israel, remember, under the Persian regime, we resided in these lands. Okay? Yeah.
Real quick, go back to that map, to what Officer Lequoc was saying, the war that's going on right now, the land they fighting for. Scroll up.
You're to the left.
Yep, right there. Read the bottom part under that map.
Map of Eurasian steppes or grasslands. Scythia occupy the grasslands of Ukraine.
Yep.
The grasslands of Asia are to the north of Sakha lands,
Wow, go ahead.
which were around and to the south of the Aral Sea.
All over from one end to the other end. Dick.
Yeah.
Going right through Ukraine, all that area was these people.
Mm-hmm. So now, give me page 267 in Gabi's book, just to confirm what Officer Aim just said. Page 267 in Gabi's book, Lost Tribes. Page 267. We're going to stop at the tendency.
That's where we starting, D.
Yep.
The tendency among Greek writers.
The tendency among Greek writers. Herodotus, Strabo, Greek writers. Go ahead.
The tendency among Greek writers to use the term Scythian as a geographical expression confuses the ordinary reader.
The ordinary reader. Because if you do your research, we're not ordinary.
Esoteric.
We are extraordinary. We do our research biblically. So ordinary is oh yeah, Nordic peoples is Scythians. No. Not originally.
Black readers.
Yeah, black people. Yeah, you're ordinary readers. Keep going.
That is, after the Scythians had passed on, new peoples in the same territory.
When the Scythians passed on, when they were gone, their time of rulership was at an end. What happened?
New peoples in the same territory was sometimes spoken of as Scythians.
Go ahead, watch this.
Herodotus, in particular, calls everybody in South Russia as a Scythian.
But they were not. They were not that. But the Greeks said, well, everyone in that region is a Scythian. This, for example, they called all Israel, rather than say the tribe, they'll say, oh, you're a Jew.
Right.
They didn't say, oh, you're Naphtali, you're Asher. They said, you're Jews. They're just Jews.
Wait, they did the same thing. Remember with Arabs and what's the other name? Moors and
Arabs and Moors and Ethiopians. They said you guys are all the same. Same thing. They do the same thing.
And Berbers.
And Berbers.
That whole thing together.
All Berbers are the same people.
Confusion. Herodotus in particular calls everybody in South Russia a Scythian. As a particular illustration, it now is considered settled that the eastern half of the Crimea was inhabited by the Krim Scyths from the earliest times of which we have any knowledge, and that these Krim Scyths were the main element in the population from the Danube to the Don.
Right, the Krim Scyths are the Crimea Scythians, the original one. That's the classical ones. Go ahead.
But today,
go ahead.
We speak of the Krim Tartars.
That's like Moab, that's Mongolians. They call them Krim Tartars now. Modern terminology is Krim Tartars. So if you're like Asian or you're like Mongolian or you're Cambodian, you're a Scythian. But back then it wasn't the case. That's all I want. Now, get me Our Descent, page 11. Our Descent, page 11. Right there, that's all I want. Our Descent. This book is called Our Descent from Israel, proved by cumulative evidence by Hugh Colquhoun. Whatever, I hope that's how you pronounce his name. Whatever.
Calhoun.
Yeah, sounds good. Hugh Colquhoun. Our Descent from Israel. Our Descent from Israel. Page 11. We're going to love this one. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. Bring it down to number 1. Watch this.
Number 1. The 10 tribes became known to the ancient Greeks, Persians and Romans as Saki.
Oh, Sakai. That's Scythians. Go ahead.
And Sakai. For a time, they clustered around the shores of the Black Sea.
Oh. Go ahead.
Scythians and Sakai became interchangeable terms being given to the same people.
Just telling you.
Number
These are the original Scythians. Go on the next one. Read Herodotus.
Number 2. Herodotus, Diodorus, Pliny, and Ptolemy.
Greek writers. Go ahead.
State that these Scythians and Sakai inhabiting the regions of the Black Sea are the same as those who came from Media across the Euphrates.
Why? Because the Assyrians put them there. Back in Chronicles, back in Kings. I'm just showing you. Ordinary readers are not those ordinary readers. They're going to do the research for you. Read on.
Number 3. Diodorus says, the Sakai sprang from a people in Media.
Where?
In Media, who obtained a vast and glorious empire.
Right. We became an empire. Go ahead.
4. Pliny says, the Sakai were among the most distinguished people of Scythia, who settled in Armenia, and were called Sakai Sinai.
Go ahead.
5. He further states, the Sakai were a Scythian race and came from Media.
Go ahead. Number 6.
Number 6. Albanus said, the Saxons were descended from the ancient Sakai of Asia, and in the process of time, they came to be called Saxon.
Now, I showed y'all episodes ago what Saxon means. It means Isaac. Saxon means Isaac. And Sakai means Isaac too. Yeah, get going.
7. Ptolemy mentions a Scythian people sprung from the Sakai.
That's Isaac there. Go ahead.
By the name of Saxons. British history trace from Egypt and Palestine. Roberts, page 105, quoting Sharon Turner.
Quoting Sharon Turner. Keep going.
8. The self-liberated 10 tribes.
The self-liberated 10 tribes. Going back to number 1. Go ahead.
After leaving Media.
After leaving Media. When they got the freedom to do so during what period? Persian captivity. They got liberty to leave. But they chose, some of them chose not to. Some came over here. Majority came over here. Remnants of them stayed there in these areas and migrated further east in inhabited areas of China. Where they furthered what? The contribution to what? The Silk Road. We read that earlier. Keep going.
Became subsequently.
And they moved to migrate to India. They became Dalits. They became Siddhis. It's the same people. Go ahead.
Became subsequently known as the Scythians, either from occupying a region so-called, or else to signify that they were wanderers.
Nomads. Go ahead.
Which is the import of the name.
That's what it means. That's what Scythian means. They migrated from Media. They were taken from Bethshan to Media. They said, oh, these are nomads. City of the nomads. Scythopolis. Nomads. That's who we are. That's who we were. Now, go to the next one. Go to Lost Tribes. You got that book. Go to page, we're going to go to page 165 and 166. Yep, blow that up. It says the Buddhists and what?
The Hebrews and Mar.
No, this is the top of the page. You'll say
oh, I'm sorry. The Buddhists and the Sakai.
Remember, the Buddhists and the Sakai are the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Wait, read this here.
The Hebrews.
Go back to the book's title again. I don't want to go past it. I don't want to skip past this. I'm making things up. Blow it up some so everybody can see it. This book is entitled The Lost Tribes. Go ahead.
The Lost Tribes and the Saxons of the East and of the West.
The Saxons of the East and of the West. Go ahead.
With new views of Buddhism.
Because what we researched, the Scythians were the founders of what?
Buddha.
And
the religion of Buddhism.
And keep going.
And it was said that the guy that went to China that started the Shaolin Kung Fu was
Scythian.
And he started the Kung Fu over there in China.
You nations have no culture, man.
Named Bada Karma.
We're the best fighters on the earth. All that martial arts stuff you watch, we watch this stuff because that's us. That's why we're so drawn to it. You're drawn to these things because that's you. Yeah, I don't care about this. Is old. Yeah,
Was it throwing darts?
Huh?
Don't mind him, Deke.
Okay.
You know he on his.
They're throwing the darts. Oh my gosh. Yeah, them books today. The Lost Tribe. Go ahead.
the lost tribes and the Saxons of the East and of the West, with new views of Buddhism. All right, and translations of rock records in India by George Moore.
Go down to the bottom.
MD.
Of the years. Is there a year on it? Go down to the bottom of the book. Go back to the title. Go back.
My man, where are you going?
Go back to the title of the book.
Right there.
Just go down to the bottom of it, see if it shows the year. Blow it up.
We got to put that in.
Blow it up. Blow it up.
Off the quad, put that in.
Bring it up.
Quick.
Bring it up. I want the year right there. Blow it up. This is Latin Roman numerals.
Yes,
Bring
sir.
it up. What's on? Find out what year this is. MDCC CLXI. I know that's 11. That's all I can think of. I see 11. That's it. After 11, I'm done. Once you get past the X, I'm confused. I think C is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm talking about. Whoever gets it first, please help, audience. Y'all in here.
MDCCC LXI.
It's old as the year. It's the year of the book.
That's the year?
Mm-hmm. In Roman numerals.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's something we don't understand.
You're trying to figure it out. You got Abaddon?
1863.
That's thing at me. I said help. What the hell is this?
What happened?
I asked the audience to help me find the year of the book. They all staring in my face, smiling at me.
Right. Right here it says 1861, 1862.
Thank you.
1861.
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
Why don't you write 1861?
It's an old book. That's what they do it.
But why would they write in Roman numerals?
So this book was published in 1861.
They Romans, Cap.
1861, and we were emancipated in what year?
Oh, 1863.
Right. So we were slaves when they wrote this book. We weren't free during this book's publishing. So I'm letting you guys know what the nations know before we were allowed to know it. That was 1861. We got emancipated in what, 1865?
Yes, sir.
It's 4 years prior. So niggas weren't allowed to read this stuff. Read that, please. The Hebrews and more.
The Hebrews and more, as well as those in Bukhara.
Bukhara is India, right?
No, Bukhara is in Medes. That's
Iran.
Yes, yes, sir.
I'll make sure. Let me proofread that.
In the scriptures, it's called Hera, where Tiglath-Pileser took us.
Oh yes.
So they renamed it Bukhara now.
Yeah. Yep. Bukhara is the ancient city in the Central Asian country of Uzbekistan. It was a prominent stop on the Silk Road trade. And you had slaves involved in that Silk Road trade, by the way. They were selling us along that route. Okay?
Yeah, I got something that'll back that up.
Country Uzbekistan. Turkmenistan.
Hey, pull this page up for Bukhara on the online request real quick.
Real quick. Already? 25 already?
You have it right there. Pull that up.
Damn. We almost done anyway.
Come on. Load up.
Right there, yep.
So it says the Jews in Bukhara told Josh Wolf.
That's the same guy. None of the other book.
Yes, sir.
Wolf, go ahead.
When the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, and Tiglath-Pileser, they were carried away.
Wow.
Even the Reubenites, Gadites, and half Manasseh.
Half Manasseh, go ahead.
To Halah, now Balk, and Habor, now Samarkand, and Harah, now Bukhara.
Bam. There you go. That's when we got placed here. Go back to the other book now.
So this
To the Jews of Bukhara. Wait. Go back to that again. Blow it up some again. Blow it up. Go down. Read the Jews of Bukhara.
The Jews of Bukhara said that many of Naphtali wandered on the Aral mountains, and that the Kafar Sakapush on the Hindu coast or Indian Caucasus are their brethren.
See that? That's all Europe there. Same place. The Aral Mountain, same place. That's all I wanted. Naphtali too. Now, lost 10 tribes. Now read this here. I'm going to finish this.
The Hebrews in Mar, as well as those in Bukhara, assured the Reverend J. Wolf that there are many of the children of Israel of the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun
Where?
in the Hindu Kush among the Bakawi, and that they lived by a robbery, and knew the exclamation, Shama Ya Israel, hear, O Israel.
Read that right there. If the Sakas.
If the Sakas were of Israelitish origin, we might, I can't see it. That's it. Cut off.
Go up, go up. Go next one, next part. What I sent y'all. You blow that up.
Isaacsi.
Yeah, they refer to the Sakas refer to as. Remember, Wikipedia said this name. Isaacsi. Go ahead.
Isaacsi, a name readily converted into Sakai.
Same thing. Scythians. Go ahead.
By the Greeks.
Go ahead.
Who habitually rendered the names of the barbarians only into approximate sound.
They rendered the names of barbarians, meaning those who didn't speak Greek. Let's go back to Colossians 3:11 again. Barbarians. Go ahead.
It is possible to account for these facts, but on the supposition that they are derived from the real Beni Israel.
The Beni means the sons of Israel, derived from the sons of Israel. Go on, next one. Read that there.
We have supposed them to have been named Sakai, or Sakai, after Isaac.
After what?
Isaac.
Going back to Saxon. Go ahead.
And here, in the very seat of the Sakai of old, we find large numbers of people professing to be Israelites, calling themselves.
Well, you got the whole page, right? You sent the whole page? Or you didn't send it?
I think he did. Yeah, he did send the whole page.
Did you send it over to them?
I don't think so. Let me see.
Give me 2 Maccabees 4, 45 to 47. So I'm just showing y'all, man. I'm just showing you that these people, the Scythians, originally were Israel.
Pull that up. Put that page up.
That conquered when they were placed over there by the Medes.
I just sent the page. Y'all see it? One second.
You're almost done. Read what you got. We read that in the meantime. 2 Maccabees 2. 2 Maccabees 4:45.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 45. But Menelaus, being now convicted, promised Ptolemy the son of Dormenes to give him much money.
Right, this guy was trying to pay himself into authority. Go ahead.
If he would pacify the king toward him.
Because he messed up for he messed up before the king, so he was trying to bribe this guy into talking the king out of killing him. This guy Menelaus is wicked Jake, wicked Israelite. Go ahead.
Whereupon Ptolemy, taking the king aside into a certain gallery, as it were to take the air, brought him to be of another mind.
Right, told me calm the king down. Go ahead. Regarding Menelaus. Go ahead. Watch this.
And so much that he discharged Menelaus from the accusations.
So the charges against Menelaus causing all kind of problems was dismissed based upon him helping. He paid this guy to convince the king to let him live. So he basically bribed his way for being executed. So read again. And so much that he what?
And so much that he discharged Menelaus from the accusations.
Watch this.
Who notwithstanding was cause of all the mischief.
Who was the cause of all the mischief against us. Watch this.
And those poor men.
And those poor men.
Who, if they had told their cause.
Because he got these men killed through slander. But these poor men that the author's referring to had told their cause to who?
Yeah, before the Scythians.
If these poor men had brought their cause before the Scythians, go ahead.
Should have been judged innocent, then them he condemned to death.
So if the Scythians had judged the matter, they've been innocent. Hold on. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 47. Verse 48. Thus they that follow the matter for the city and for the people and for the holy vessels did soon suffer unjust punishment. Wherefore even they of Tyrus, moved with hatred of the wicked deed, caused them to be honorably buried. And so through the covetousness of them that were of power, Menelaus remained still in authority, increasing in malice and being a great traitor to the citizens.
Read again. Where you at? 40. No, read no. You're too much. Read the verse 47 again.
47. And so much that the discharge Menelaus from the accusations, who notwithstanding was cause of all the mischief, and those poor men who, if they had told their cause, before the Scythians should have been judged innocent, them he condemned to death.
So if they had brought the matter regarding these men's complaint against Menelaus, the Scythians would have judged righteously. Why? Because they were Israel. That's the author saying. If he had brought this cause before the Scythians, they would have judged it correctly. But they didn't because Menelaus was evil as hell. All right? So now, read this right here. We're almost done. I just want to get others out the way before I wrap it up.
Stop here.
Yeah, start from the Hebrews and more. Go down to here, if the Sakas were of Israelite origin, right there.
If the Sakas were of Israelitish origin,
they were. Go ahead.
We might naturally expect to find some wild remains of them in the country, through which we suppose them to have passed, and that they should retain the Israelitish passwords was likely in a country which was probably colonized by Jews at a very early period.
Go ahead.
These facts at least serve to connect the Sakas, or Sakai, whom we find in Kashmir or Orissa, with the Isaxes of independent Tartary and Bulgaria. These countries,
Bulgaria is the Medes. Go ahead.
These countries being, in fact, precisely the seats of the ancient Sakai, or at least of the people so-called by the Persians in the time of Herodotus. It would be very strange if, having from other circumstances been induced to believe that the 10 tribes went into those regions, we there find a multitude of people who declared themselves to be the descendants of these tribes.
There you go.
And yet, that they should not be so. We have supposed them to have been named Sakai, or Sakai, after Isaac. And here in the very seat of the Sakai of old, we find large numbers of people professing to be Israelites.
Calling themselves what?
Calling themselves.
Next page. You get 170? You send 170? Send you 170 or no? No, I mean you. Jazz. They send you 170?
Yes, sir. Yeah, here it is.
You send them all of it, man. It's not stopping. Almost done. Almost done. So I'm just showing you guys that the Scythians were called Sakai, named after Isaac. It's the same people, the 10 tribes. All right? Sent it?
Yes, sir.
By calling them, so stop that calling themselves what? We'll have to continue another time. We'll have to continue another time. Up, right here. Up, all the way down. Calling themselves. Where we stop at? No.
No, it's 170.
Go up. 169. 169 end that. 169. How did it end? 169.
Right.
That's the flow with this. Come on.
It's up.
All right. 169. Where we at? Where to stop at?
Calling themselves is very remarkable. They were driving the Cimmerians or Gomeri before them into Asia.
Right. Remember I said earlier how they pushed Japheth out when they were placed there. Go ahead.
When they encountered the Medes at a place inhabited by the Masa Gatai, or Gulfs of Masha on the right of the Mount Caucasus, between it and the Caspian Sea, they subdued all before them until they reached Palestine.
Until they reached Palestine, their original homeland. Go ahead.
And as if their object were their accomplished.
It would seem as if they were going to be more victorious. Go ahead.
They then proceeded to prey upon Assyria for 28 years.
Right, they started attacking Assyria when they helped the Babylonians go against Assyria. Go ahead.
But like the Ephraimites.
Like the Ephraimites, because they're northern kingdom. Go ahead.
They were given to drunkenness.
Go ahead.
And their chiefs being invited to a feast by Cyaxares.
The Persians.
And the Medes. They were intoxicated and put to death.
They got overthrown. The elders got overthrown. Go ahead.
After which the Medes recovered their dominion.
The Medes took the land back from the Scythians. Go ahead.
And expelled the Scythians.
And they expelled the Scythians. Go ahead.
The Scythian invasion came in from the north. The direction whence the prophet Ezekiel in a vision saw the advancing cloud, the whirlwind, and the fire in which the Israelitish people seemed symbolically involved.
Jump down to Scythians is now exposing.
Now, supposing the prophecy fulfilled by this incursion, we should expect to find traces of the Israelites in the north and the east after the expulsion of the Scythians, since we regard these people as mingling with the Israelites and preparing a way for their departure from Media and Mesopotamia.
It's the same people. They mingled with the same people.
Esdras says the 10 tribes took counsel together and went out peaceably.
They did take counsel together, but they came to this side of the world. This author thinks to somewhere else. Go ahead.
Crossing over the narrow passages of the river Euphrates. This would take them in the course indicated, namely through Armenia and between Mount Masha and the Caspian Sea, the very course by which the Scythians had come in.
Right, so he's saying from there, but they came to this side. Go ahead.
Now, we cannot discover any period in the history of Media and Mesopotamia in which the great body of the Israelites could have so departed.
That's all I want. So now give me, almost done, wrap it up. Give me Israel Revivus. Israel Revivus, real quick. 2 more places to go and I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going over my time. Israel Revivus, page 191. Israel Revivus. I sent you in the group me.
They have it. Go back to the group me and just scroll up. Yeah, just scroll up right there. Go up. Go. Up. All the way up. Right there. That's
There's
it.
blue.
That's
Yep.
it.
Click that. Blow it up now. Remember, they came across the Goths, right? Remember that earlier they came across the Goths on the other side? The Scythians came across the Goths, blah, 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 blah. Watch this.
The Scythians, the Gittite, Thracians.
Thracians were initially Japheth, but of course Israel pushed them out too. Go ahead.
And Goths.
And Goths. The Visigoths is Edom. These Goths is not Edom. Go ahead.
Having thus been traced to one common origin.
They're all traced to one common origin. Go ahead.
Or as being rather different names for the same people.
Watch this.
There can be no reasonable doubt but that these represented the descendants of the 10 tribes who had escaped from the Assyrian captivity.
There you go. Read on. Watch this.
It has also been seen that some of these migrated to Asia Minor.
Some of these people listed above migrated to Asia Minor. Go ahead.
And thus joined the Greco-Israelites in their colonies there.
And joined the Greco-Israelites. Those are Greeks that Paul was dealing with. Throughout the New Testament, Jew nor Greek, that's who he was talking to. You can't argue this, man. You cannot argue it. So now give me the last one. New European origins. Go back. One more on group me. Go to group me again. It's a screenshot. Go down. Right there. That book right there. Click that. Yeah, that one. Okay. And the page under it. So you're not going back and just download the page now, so we're not doing that after the fact. Download it now. All right. So go to the cover now. This is the last book I'm going to show y'all before I wrap it up. Blow it up. This book is called A Key to Northwest European Origins by Raymond McNair. Okay? That's the book we're using now. Now go to the page you're referencing from. See what he says. Blow it up. This is the last thing we're going to read. Read this here. Right there.
We shall presently note that no nation could withstand these Scythian peoples when they were united, which was seldom, if ever.
Right, because even though you had all the tribes amongst each other called Scythians, but they were divided. But when they came together, they were a problem. Go ahead.
They
were a bunch of drunks at the same time. Go ahead.
it has already been brought to our attention that according to the Behistun rock inscriptions, this name Scythian is one of the first names which Israel.
Who?
Which Israel.
Israel.
Bore in exile.
One of the first names which Israel bore in exile. Northern kingdom bore in exile. Go ahead.
God had determined to bury the identity of these exiles.
God had determined to bury the identity of these exiles. Go ahead.
Whom he had expelled from the promised land.
Whom he had expelled from their promised land, which would be Samaria. Go ahead. Or Bethshan. Go ahead.
So that they would lose their identity.
They lost their identity and became Scythians, Iranians, Greeks, Goths, Thracians. A perfect example of a Thracian would be Spartacus. He was a Thracian. That's Israel too.
Right.
Go ahead.
Until the latter days.
Spartacus, that's us. Go ahead.
Lose their identity until the latter days.
They would lose their identity until the latter days. Go ahead.
When their identity was to be revealed to them.
When they would learn who they are today. Go ahead.
In this section on the Scythians, the foremost authorities will be consulted. And in order to thoroughly understand the Scythian background and their connection with Israel, we shall examine this subject through the eyes of many different historians.
Just we did today. Go ahead.
Who have diligently studied Scythian history.
Cythology. Go down. First,
we shall consider the subject through a classic work written by Sharon Turner.
Remember, she was referenced in the book we read before about Sharon Turner. He quoted Turner.
Yes, sir.
The book I showed y'all earlier. Go ahead.
He had an unusually penetrating way of analyzing the ethnological entanglements of the peoples of Europe.
Okay, so Sharon is a man. Okay, wow.
Oh,
okay.
snap. All right.
Snap. Wow. Whoa.
Okay.
All right. All right, it's getting deep. All right. All right. Read that there.
Turner shows that Europe has been peopled by three great streams of population from the east.
From the east, go ahead.
Which we have followed each other at intervals, so distinct as to possess languages clearly separable from each other. These three streams of population were 1, Cimmerian or Celtic.
As Japheth, Celtic could be Jake. Go ahead.
2, Scythian or Gothic.
Scythian, Gothic is Israel. That's Israel there. Go ahead.
And 3, Sarmatian or Slavic.
Sarmatian are the the Iranians that were there. That's the actual Iranians there. That's Medes there too. There's a different name for them. Or Sarmatia. Go ahead.
He points out that the earliest people who came to Europe were of the Cimmerians.
Japheth.
Cymric. Or Celtic race.
Celtic race, but Israel took on that name Celts first and foremost. Go ahead.
The second people to migrate into Europe were the Scythian, Gothic, or German people.
The second because Japheth was there first, and we came later on. Then it says the Gothic, Israel there. Then Germanic people goes into Edom. Go ahead.
It would appear that Turner did not mean that the Scythian peoples were synonymous with the true Germans of today.
You see that? It says it would appear that the Scythian peoples were synonymous with did not mean that the Scythians peoples were synonymous with the Germans today.
So they're not the same people.
Not the same people. So the people who inhabited Germany today aren't the same Scythians back then. That was us back then. Go ahead.
We have already noticed that the first branch of people who came to Europe were the Cimmerians or Celts.
Japheth. Go ahead.
They settled primarily in the north or western parts of Europe, mostly on the coastlands and islands of that continent.
That's all I want. I don't need nothing else. So, Lord's will, hope you guys get something out of the class. I'm wrapping up on that. All praise to the Lord. We managed to get through it. I know I took over my time. Sorry, Malachi. But I just wanted to finish this up so brothers can go back to this video and watch it and do the research on the Scythians being Israel undeniably in Colossians 3:11. So with that, we say shalom. Shout outs to the IT team. Shout outs to the breakfast team that's here. It was excellent. Hospitality here in Jersey is amazing. It's beautiful. All praise to the Lord. Glad Cap made it. Glad Joel made it here. Any announcements you want to make real fast and brief before we wrap it up?
Yes, sir. Real fast and brief. Hey, we took the show on the road. We don't want to tell these people we're not joking. Hey, Jersey, make some noise. You hear the audience in the back. Praises, all praises. Hospitality was the best. All right. And one more round of applause for Deacon with the fire. Never stop it. All right. All right. As usual, subscribe to our Hidden History Radio on YouTube, IUIC Philadelphia, and also IUIC Philadelphia in the Classroom. That is on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to donate to OHH on PayPal, all right, to iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. All right, and in the comment, please note, put OHH, all right? Also, don't forget to donate to the Booster Club at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. And lastly, everyone should be supporting IUIC TV. Subscribe to get exclusive content from the bishop and the deacons. All right, with that, that's it.
All right, all praise to the Lord. Shalom. I'll see y'all next week.
Shalom, shalom.
Bless.
Most high in Christ bless.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah.